I'm going to show you a model of thinking that can help you get richer in crypto, because the one mistake a lot of people make is they only think in one of these quadrants. But this model of thinking, it's called the all quadrants, all levels model, otherwise known as the integral model. A lot of wealthy and successful individuals use this model, and once I discovered it, I figured that it overlaid onto crypto and specifically PulseChain very well, in the sense that PulseChain covers all four of these quadrants, which I'm about to show you right now. So if you can think better and structure the way that you're thinking, you might realize you've been falling into this pitfall of only addressing one or two of these quadrants, but thinking holistically about how PulseChain as an investment really addresses, from a human needs standpoint, kind of everything, versus, some random meme coin on some other chain or some VC funded blockchain. Let's dive into it. The AQAL model, all quadrants, all levels, it creates four quadrants like you see right here. It balances internal and external on one axis and individual versus collective on a different axis. So it basically summarizes all different kind of psychological domains in one. So on the individual internal, this is how you think about your attitude, your psyche, your internal belief system as an individual. The individual external quadrant over here is behaviors and competencies. So this is like external data, how you act in the world, and how you can analyze individuals and their actions and real data points to help make a decision. Then you've got collective internal. This is like the belief systems that are commonly shared among all cultures, right? So this is like religions. And with crypto definitely addresses this religion part for some people, especially, when it comes to PulseChain and the cypherpunk ethos. We're going to talk about how PulseChain overlays onto this model. But then finally, you've got external collective, and these are structures, processes. You could think like capitalism or financial systems or liquidity bonding. These are macro structures that you can look at apart from the individual that links the broader scope of everything together. So this also represents and ties together a lot of different famous psychologists. For example, psyche, you've got like Sigmund Freud up here in the internal inside. Behavioral psychology was like B.F. Skinner. Internal collective, you could maybe say this was Carl Jung. And then structures and processes, you could call this John Adams, The Wealth of Nations, stuff like that. I would say Karl Marx, but I'm not a big believer in that guy. So the AQL model, we've got internal individual. This focuses on your mindset, your emotions. External individual, this is behaviors in real life, data that you can look at to make a decision. Internal collective, cultural systems, cultural shared values, and then external collectives, meaning systems and structures that we create, especially in the cryptocurrency space. And most people think in only one quadrant, so they miss the big picture. When they're making their crypto investments, they're only hung up on one, and they ignore maybe the lack of all the other quadrants inside their own favorite crypto ecosystem. So like if you only think in one quadrant, you're going to have blind spots. You're not going to make the best decisions. You might be anxious or frustrated that things aren't happening in your favorite coin, and that's because you're only doing this one-dimensional thinking. So internal only, it's easy to get lost in dreams. If you're thinking external only, you're going to miss out on the fact that the internal emotion and the storytelling that we tell ourselves actually does matter. You can't have just one or the other, it's both. Cultural only thinkers, they don't focus on much practical stuff, but they're big on, the religious, the cypherpunk movement, and it's that sense of shared group identity when you have a crypto community, such as PulseChain, for example. And then systems only thinkers miss individual needs. They're always thinking about how to design the system. For example, the PulseX buy and burn system. It's a well-designed system because you're allowing people to profit off of owning a piece of the entire trading platform. But if all you're thinking about is systems, you might not resonate with somebody's internal wants, their desire for freedom, or someone's cultural identity, their desire to belong to something greater, or people's individual, stories and their actual tangible data and results that they produce. So PulseChain is rare because it addresses all four of these quadrants, whereas a lot of other coins, they don't do that. A lot of people get hung up thinking in only one of these quadrants until it's too late, until they realize that maybe whatever corner of cryptocurrency they're in is a dead-end road. So first, let's focus on the individual internal. What are some individual things that everybody pretty much in crypto wants? We can all agree we all want to get rich, and if you don't want to get rich, you probably don't belong in crypto. Some people might not like that word, wealthy maybe, but it ties into freedom as well. We all just want enough money to live life on our own terms. We don't want someone else telling us what to do. A lot of us in crypto, we're deeply unhappy with the status quo, with the establishment. A lot of people probably feel like they don't fit in. Maybe they're working a job they hate, and they want that power and purpose that comes along with freedom and wealth and getting rich. It's okay to want to get rich, but if it doesn't align with your self-identity, it's not going to work. And that's why people in PulseChain, a lot of times, you'll see that they've made it a part of their identity to allow themselves to get these gains, to get rich, to get the power, because they realize that the freedom that cryptocurrency offers, it's such a lightweight asset. And if it goes up in price, you can kind of live outside of the normie world, but not everybody can win. Okay, so the people that don't understand the individual internal identity shifting that needs to happen, If getting rich or getting wealthy or making money is not part of your identity self-alignment, the fear of success, which is sometimes even bigger than the fear of failure subconsciously, can hold you back. But at the end of the day, I think this resonates with people because every animal craves freedom. You put a dog in a cage, all they want to do is be free. Before you break a horse, if you just left that horse out in the wild, it would naturally want to just roam and be free. So PulseChain delivers this sense of hope, this sense of optimism, and this alternative parallel financial system that you can participate in with the dreams of getting free and getting rich in the process. Because no one can shut it off, no one can tell you what to do. And if PulseChain goes up 10x or 100x, you've got the life-changing, FU money to live life on your terms. Individual external, this has to do with looking at the external data and behaviors of people and seeing what's already happened, because you can't ignore real practicality. That's what I like about the individual external quadrant. It's practical. We can look at history and we can look at Hex's first 10,000x and realize that, hey, this is possible for these coins. These coins can go up that much. Some coins on PulseChain actually have gone up hundreds of X's already in the past. So we know it's possible, especially with low liquidity. You look around and you've got hundreds of YouTubers and X content creators, maybe even thousands, because every individual takes it upon themselves to feel like they're part of this external shared goal, and they all work to pump their own bags. They work for their bags in a way that most other cryptocurrencies, they rely on like paid shill or VC companies to try to generate fake demand by just paying people off, which doesn't happen at all in PulseChain, which does really make it kind of a black swan here, or a white swan, we would hope. The pumpamentals, these are like the dynamics built into the coins, things like the PulseX buy and burn, things like monetizing time with Hex. Real tangible features of all these coins that create social proof that these ideas work. And then you look around and you say to yourself, look at all these builders, let's see what they've built. And I'm only going to name 3 right here because I think these could be secret weapons to help take PulseChain parabolic. You've got the Coast Exchange, PulseChain's very own exchange. This was built by people, by individuals, building into the external environment. Internet money, this guy KG took it upon himself to make a crypto wallet, Liberty Swap. And I'm only mentioning 3 things, but I could go on and on and on. That video would take hours. A lot of people in the community, they've built stuff. So the builders really embody the individual external. We've got people taking actions like the founder, who took legal action and beat the SEC. He had a legal victory that no other cryptocurrency founder has. So no other cryptocurrency code ever beat the SEC. The founder took it upon himself to get that legal precedent set for all of crypto, which is pretty noble, pretty heroic when you think about it. Low liquidity, yield scarcity, these things are deliberate by design. That can mathematically allow you to calculate how much money would pump the coin by XYZ amount. We all know Pampy.app, right? A lot of people have been to this website, PAMPI.app. With deliberate lower liquidity and deliberately lower yields, this was all by design to give higher calculatable pumps with less money inflowing into the ecosystem overall. And of course, security, these things haven't been hacked. Hex has like 3 audits. A lot of these, PulseX, PulseChain, they're copied off of Ethereum, which is one of the safest blockchains out there. These things have been running fine for years. PulseChain's never had a critical bug. Hex has never had a critical bug. So PulseChain has these measurable paths to success, which captures the individual external quadrant. Now let's talk about the collective internal. The collective internal is like the religion. Okay, PulseChain, we all know, everybody calls it a cult, right? And that right there alone, the fact that people call it a cult, it's just identifying a shared passionate belief system, such as like the cypherpunk spirit. It lives on in PulseChain. We all share these beliefs like privacy, self-sovereignty, not your keys, not your coins. This is the reason crypto was invented. And that's why PulseChain is a movement for the people that never forgot why crypto was invented, to get rid of middlemen, to take the power back into your own hands. And it's not hype driven. It's not based on, some influencer, hyping up a meme coin for 2 weeks. It's based off of principles at its very core. And most people believe in at least some of these principles. Yes, we want to get rich, but we also believe in getting rid of corrupt middlemen. We probably, for the most part, believe that the Federal Reserve is pretty corrupt. So it's permissionless, it's decentralized, it's crypto the way it was supposed to be. And the tribe, the PulseChain tribe that was created, is a tribe of idealists who remembers why crypto was born. Finally, you've got the collective external. These are systems. These are physical systems and structures that are built to address the collective, such as, for example, the Hex, Pulse, PulseX liquidity bond trifecta. All these coins are bonded to each other. A lot of them have automated burn pressure. For example, the fees that go through the PulseX exchange, some portion of those gets buy and burned all the time. PLS, you've got people that trade meme coins on pump.tires, they burn PLS at the same time, regardless of whatever stupid meme coins they're trading. Hex takes a lot of the supply and launches it into the future with people that stake for an average of like 7 to 9 years. So Hex removes supply into the future and it monetizes that by paying people out for delaying gratification. These are just systems that are built to last long term. So you've got that automated burn pressure, right? People trading on PulseX exchange, people trading meme coins on pump tires. regardless, coins are getting burned, but really at a greater scale, you're building a parallel financial system right here. So Ethereum is a parallel financial system, and because Ethereum is so popular and so successful, PulseChain can be looked at as horizontal EVM scaling. The underlying tech behind Ethereum is the Ethereum virtual machine. So PulseChain doesn't reinvent the wheel. We just say, okay, the McDonald's on the corner got too full. We're going to build another McDonald's. We're going to build another road. Okay, I think roads are a better analogy. The highway was too congested, so we built more lanes on the highway, and that's PulseChain. Also, no VC control. This does get an honorable mention because a lot of the existing systems in crypto are controlled by VC middlemen, not at the I own more coins than you level, but sometimes at the literal I have an off switch level. Like Solana, right? It's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to talk about, but all of the people running Solana, all the nodes, they're companies, right? Which can all get on a conference call and decide to do certain things like they already have in the past. The network goes down. I think it's been down 12 times now since it existed because it's not really decentralized. It's pseudo decentralized. If you really look at who's hosting all these nodes, one single company, just to throw Solana under the bus, one company manages the hosting for the large majority of the Solana nodes. This is a single point of failure, but this is also why they're able to shut the network off. So in contrast, PulseChain is not just a new coin, it's a new financial system that is just expanding one that we already do believe in, which is the EVM system. Now you've got all these different chains, right? PulseChain's just newer, cheaper, faster, more price potential, better community, and all that other stuff. So PulseChain has full spectrum alignment on the AQAL model. The integral model is what it's called. It speaks to the individual, right? The individual hearts. It shows provable results, like price results, like if I put in XYZ money, I get XYZ price pump. Builds a tribal collective sense of belonging, and it anchors in scalable tech. It expands upon systems that already work in building that parallel financial economy. So if you can think in this way, if you understand the AQAL model, you do understand PulseChain's real edge. It's just one way to convey, the power of what you've stumbled upon here, which could be pretty life-changing. So if you're able to think better, you're able to invest smarter. If you learn this model, if you see the full map, then you can join a movement that sometimes unknowingly thinks in all quadrants. And that's why it feels so good to be part of PulseChain, is because any sector that you look, we're not lacking. So PulseChain isn't just new, you're not just early, but it's a complete system that addresses the majority of human needs from a psychological perspective. So if you can think rich, you might get rich. Don't get stuck in the pain of only being in this dead-end, single quadrant method of thinking. I hope that was useful to you guys. I will see you on the next video. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Oh, and if you're brand new to crypto, if you don't have the confidence that you want, if you want to learn how to do it right, do check out hexpassiveincome.com. Limited time only, 25% off. Never too late to learn, especially right now. Now is the time to learn how to do crypto the right way. See you on the next one.